Hey everyone, this is Processing Pixels, aka Ed. I hope you're doing well, and today I have for you some Minecraft flowers. In particular, we are making the dandelion, the poppy, and the cornflower. For all these sprites together, I used a good bit of colors, so it'd take a while to break them down. So I'm just going to recommend, if you would like to know the colors, be sure to check out my templates in my Discord. So let's go ahead and jump into the beading. We're starting with the dandelion, then we'll work on the poppy, and then the cornflower. You are able to do all these flowers on one board, but I will say I recommend you do it on multiple boards, at least like 2, and separate them a little bit more. You'll see later on, whenever I did the tape method to get them up off my board, I had a little bit of an issue getting the tape off because of how thin and small these pieces are. So for recording purposes, I only did one board instead of trying to kind of keep it centered for you guys on 2 boards. It just made it harder on myself in that way. But if you were to do it on 2 boards, then you should be able to just use probably one piece of wider scotch tape and get it up off your board, and then you can just put them side by side and iron them if you did all 3 at the same time. But other than that little hiccup, these are definitely a pretty easy thing to make. They literally just slot into each other, and obviously the design themselves are pretty simplistic and small. I believe I mentioned in my mushroom and flower pot video, this is kind of the continuation I had in mind. The mushroom was like the easiest thing you could make with this kind of 3D style that the Minecraft flowers do. And the mushroom was quick enough that I could do the flower pot at the same time, so then there's a tutorial out there for the flower pot that I'll be using for these flowers for sure. And I thought, why not do the classic flowers for Minecraft? I mean, we only started with the poppy and the dandelion. I don't know if the red flower was always the poppy. I feel like it got called the rose and then they changed the name. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm just attaching my own memory on it. Maybe I always called it the rose and only recently realized it was the poppy. And I think the cornflower is just one of the prettiest flowers in the game, and who doesn't like blue, so it's kind of the go-to, so we get a little bit of a variety of colors. But anyway, I'm going to let this finish playing out, and then I will jump in when it's time to take a screenshot if you so wish. Okay, now is the time to take a screenshot of the flowers. We are done laying out the beads, and then next I'm using the tape method to get this up off my board. As you can see, just positioning wise, it was easier for me to tape it this way, and also because they were so close to each other. But I recommend trying to do kind of vertical tape strips across the length of the flowers, and then doing like a single piece of tape on each flower instead of how I did it here, because as you'll see, I have some trouble getting the tape up off of it whenever I get done ironing the front side. I do have to adjust a few beads on the poppy, the very bottom 2. You have to adjust those slightly so it connects to the stem, and then on the cornflower, that little like corner piece at the top of the stem that's going to the right and left, you have to move that single bead over. Just so that whenever you melt your beads, it connects properly. But once you get done moving those beads, it should look something like this, and we are ready to iron. I have my iron set on the silk setting. With these being smaller and thinner pieces, I recommend not going too high on your iron and just doing a little bit of a slower melt. We're done ironing one side, and as you can see, I am having a little bit of trouble with the tape, so I'm not going to make you sit through and watch this, but definitely take my advice and try to separate your flowers a little bit more, unless, you know, you're recording the same video I am for some reason. Once I got the tape off, I did lose like 2 pieces, so I re-ironed the front side and just put a couple pieces of tape to hold those 2 small pieces that broke off in place. And then I ironed the side that has not been hit by the iron yet, and then we are ready to let this thing cool. And for our books today, I am going with Vinland Saga and a Norwegian copy of a Donald Duck comic. Our beads are all cooled and looking good. I let them sit, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half or so, but I imagine 30 minutes should be fine with the small of a couple pieces. Switching perspectives, we got our flowers laid out, ready to be fitted together. I did a little bit of a longer iron on these flowers. I feel like the beads being just a tiny bit more closed makes them look pretty good, and I feel like I kept a pretty even iron on them all together. But as you can see for the dandelion, you just slot it in, and the other flowers are pretty similar. With the poppy, you have to kind of go at an angle like I am, just so that bottom of the stem can fit in, and you can separate it in the same way basically. And as you can see for the cornflower, I messed up a little bit with that bottom bead, I guess. Maybe it shifted when I was taping, but it doesn't matter too much. Similar to the poppy, put it at an angle, and then it just slides right in, and you can barely even tell, like once it's slotted in, that that bead is messed up. It's mostly covered. But that's all for me. I hope you enjoyed. If you end up remaking these designs and would like to share them, then Instagram and Twitter are the easiest spaces. The links are down below for you to get those ats and everything. Also, I have a specific area in my Discord for you to share recreations of the pieces, so if you'd like to join that, then that would be fantastic. Also, if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate you liking and subscribing. It helps me out and also tells me kind of like what content people enjoy seeing and what designs I should focus on a little bit more. But that is all for me. I hope you have a great day, everyone, and I will catch you in the next video.